Hey guys, welcome to Cars and Health Bars. On today's episode, we're going to finally be discussing our PRI trip as well as doing a recap on the Cars and Health Bars podcast over the last year of 2023. With that being said, guys, let's get right into it. So it's starting to become old news, but we might as well talk about it while we before we get super far away from it. But before we get into our main topic here, wrapping up the new year, we want to talk about our PRI trip 2 or 3 months or weeks ago. We've been so caught up with these interviews that it's kind of got put on the back burner. But I want to take this opportunity to drag it back out and kind of tell some funny stories that we got into during PRI 2023.
Well, I think the only story that's even this is probably the best PRI story I think there is you dropping your cup. Because that was hilarious.
Well, Jordan was like, "Hey, man, we got the best way to get around." And I already kind of knew about this. Like, whenever he was telling me on the car ride there, I'm like, "No way!" And he's like, "Man, there's these electric scooters. It's the only way to get around." And I'm like, "Dude, no, I haven't rode a regular scooter, much less one that's battery powered." He's like, "Man, it's good, it's good." I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Dear God, come on, no, let's not do this." And after we got on him, I do admit I was having a lot of fun after I got the hang of it. But then that's when we got to where we were going. We were going to Wingstop to grab some grub, and yeah, we instead of getting bottled drinks like big brains, we decided to get cup drinks, and of course we had I don't know, it's probably like it's maybe 10-minute drive back with the scooters to our hotel. It might not have been that. It probably was if you were going slow, but we were kind of wide
Oh,
open.
we were booking it.
We were wide open. But though Jordan is a pro, he can one-hander lander that thing. He's got a cup in one hand, steering wheel in the other. You know,
It's like growing up in Marion County. You smoking in one hand and driving with the other. Cigarettes at the age of 12.
my God. I didn't know. Well, I did know, but I just couldn't maintain control with just one hand. So I was like, well, I got these deep pack pockets. I'm just gonna pop this sucker back here, and it was going good for a while. I was like, man, this is really I'm vibing out back here. Like we chilling, and all of a sudden we get to a stop, and I don't know when it happened, but I turn around and I just see the lid to my cup blowing away in the breeze. And
Uh,
Jordan's like, he's probably like, 60 feet in front of me. I'm like, Jordan, we got a problem. We have a serious problem back here. And at that point, it hadn't started spilling. It was just the top had just flew off. And I'm like, what are we going to do? And you're like, well, I don't know. That's kind of your problem. I'm like, bruh. I'm like, okay. He just yeets off again. And I'm like, all right, well, I just got to figure this out. And it's like the more I tried to not spill it, the worse it got. And it was like, at one point, it just waterfalled down my leg. Like, it might as well have been empty. And then I'm like, man, this ain't working. So I was like, I'm just going to do what Jordan does. What's the worst that can happen? And then just like even more catastrophe happened. It's just like the whole time I'm holding it, it's vibrating and it's just spilling all down my arm, all down like in my watch. Like I don't understand what else could have went wrong. Well, I do know what else could have went wrong. At that point, I'd realized, man, I'm gonna cut my losses. If I see any trash can whatsoever, this thing's gone. Well, of course, there's no trash cans at all. So I just have to drive the whole rest of the way there with that thing like spilling all over me. Not to mention, I'm coming like full speed at like it's one of those spots where the curb kind of ramps up to go into like a little parking area, and I was headed full speed. I mean, I was like corner bomb wreckfest speed headed towards that thing, and I was like, man, this shock is not going to take it. So I planted my foot down right at the edge of that curb, and I rolled the crap out of my ankle. And I didn't even need
Gosh,
to.
bruh.
I didn't even need to. The terrible part about that was my ankle, of course, was right beside it. The scooter just ramped right up it, so I didn't even have to. I could have just been a brave boy, and I would have been just fine.
Scooters are where it's at, though.
Yeah,
Don't be discouraged.
Dude, if we didn't have that drink fiasco, oh man, they were so much fun. Dude, they go so fast. I honestly don't see how anybody else gets around in that city other than those scooters.
I would buy one. I would own one.
Yeah, and I guess if you're like me and you don't really know what we're talking about, in kind of bigger cities, there's these electric scooters that ours was through the Uber app. So literally all you do is just connect your phone and your credit card, and you just scan it, and then it's like, all right, charging you by the minute or the mile. I don't remember which it was. But yeah, and it's crazy. The concept is insane to me because it's like you just have these workers that just come pick them up and charge them, I guess. And it's funny
Yeah.
because luckily it didn't happen to us, but I was like, dude, what happens if we're like in Wingstop or we're like in somewhere and like somebody just nabs our scooters, and you're just like, it just sucks to suck. Your scooter's gone. I'm like,
Yeah.
bruh.
You win some, you lose some,
It's like GTA. It's like there's been a mugger sent after you. They steal the electric scooter.
Well, if you go to PRI, right, you take a scooter there, you better hope you don't leave late, because people taking scooters back home.
Oh, I noticed that first bunch that we found, there's like 20 of them there just piled up.
Yeah, dude, it's just like, I don't even know, like empty warehouse full of them per minute.
I just feel like a drunk driver that just hit a car. He's just like ditching back the evidence. The scooter just like, oh, that ain't mine anymore. Every time I get off of it, that was pretty crazy. There were some fun things on the way there. I don't know why it was so funny at the time, but it's like a big 2-lane road for most of the drive up there for us. And George's like, got 2 semis drag racing right here, blocking their whole road.
Yeah. They be doing that.
They're going the same exact speed, just blocking both lanes. Like, God.
They're drag racing, man.
Let's
both set cruise to 60 and see which one passes first.
We'll see whose cruise is actually still
out. One of us is a little more aerodynamic.
Oh God. I mean, other than the funny stuff that happened, PRI, it was my first year. It was awesome. Especially, I was going crazy over the machine side, dude. I was like a kid in a candy store, man.
Yeah, there's a lot to be offered. It don't matter if you're like a car guy or not. That is a good show.
Yeah, it is. There's definitely no shortage of people there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show how big the automotive industry really is.
Yeah, for real. It was so much fun, man. I'm telling you, I don't know how Matt and could want to miss out, man. It just that's so much fun. It was so much fun for me, but maybe he might be a little bit more burnt out on it than I am because I'm fresh to it. I'm like, dang, dude, this is awesome. Like, why would you want to miss out on it? It's like LS Fest for me,
I went as much as Matt. Yeah, I can see not going every year.
Yeah,
I can see missing a year or two.
Man, it was a lot of fun for me. I really enjoyed it. Even just being out and kind of taking a work vacation. It was fun. Before we get off the topic of that trip, I wanted to give a big shout out, man, to like, they ain't sponsoring us. They're not doing nothing for us, but I just want to say, if you have a racetrack gas station near you, you gotta go to that, dude. It's racetrack without a K at the end. They have
C, right?
Yeah.
It is a K.
No, there's no K at the end. It's racetrack with a C. That's it. No K.
Yeah, I thought I was missing the C for some reason.
No. They literally have E85 at every pump, and there's like 20 pumps, at least the one we went to. I can't imagine any of them would be different because it's a racetrack. They got the fuel. I was surprised. There might be 110 there somewhere at one pump at least, but the E85, dude, that was such a win to see. Especially us being from an area where we got like 2 E85 gas stations, and most of the time one of them has somebody blocking it.
Yeah, we're going to have to stop there every time we go up to BTR.
Yeah, and dude, oh my God, the coffee is insanely good. Like, I'm a big coffee guy, and that coffee was like busting.
They had the Roomba in there cleaning up too, remember?
That thing was like the size of a mini fridge.
It was.
That thing was
that thing fell on your toes. It was going to break them.
That thing was like Wally walking around. It was like Wally's cousin.
Yeah, Wally's big cousin, Tolly. I don't know.
Tolly. uh, anyways, I wanted to use this episode being our New Year's episode, the opportunity to kind of give a recap on our year of being, doing podcast. Ironically, it's super close to our anniversary, so it just kind of goes hand in hand that we're able to cover this at the same time, and kind of give you our opinion on some episodes that maybe we want to see return, and maybe you guys give your input on what you would like to see return in the following year, and also talk about, of course, our favorite episodes, of course. And I guess we could just start out by saying, guys, thanks so much for supporting us throughout the whole entire year. Uh, you know, this was just guy talk between me and Jordan, friend talk about starting the podcast, and it's crazy that it actually turned into something, and something that we've continued doing throughout the year. And I'm really happy that we started it. It's a lot of fun. I'm really happy that we did this, and it's cool to see other people reach out saying, "Hey, man, there's cars podcasts that I listen to, there's gaming podcasts that I listen to, but the fact that you're meshing those two audiences, which most car guys are gamers, well, no, I wouldn't say most, but there's a huge demographic of car guys that are gamers and gamers that are car guys, so it only makes
Yeah.
sense to mesh it together. And it makes me, it just brings a smile on my face whenever somebody actually says that to me, like, man, that was so smart that you guys did that. And I really appreciate the concept. It's kind of out of the box.
That's how we keep it out here.
I believe it was you that kind of told me, doing what everybody else does is easy. You got to do what's different.
I think you just find something that, yeah, not gotta be something everyone else does. Just find something that you enjoy, and you may not be good at it, but one day you'll eventually be better at it if you enjoy it enough.
Definitely. Yeah.
We're only gonna get better the more we do this, so.
Yeah. I yeah. I mean, if you, I go back sometimes and listen to some of our original podcasts, and I would say my interviewing skills still aren't amazing. I would say that's kind of a avenue that I need to improve in personally. I would say I'm still not a amazing interviewer. I'd say I'm a little bit, and I mean a little bit better than what I started at. But man, interviewing seems like it's kind of a hard thing to nail down, because you really have to know when to stay on a discussion, and then when to know when it's time to transition, because the interviewee might not be done with that thought, or he might have more that he wants to say, but he's just kind of waiting for that thought to progress via me agging that on, like me delving deeper into a topic. But I could definitely, that I would say that's my New Year's resolution, and I'm not a big resolution guy, but I want to become a better interviewer for the podcast, of course.
I definitely can't say my resolution is for the podcast,
Oh, that's
but
no shame.
but it is a resolution. I think everyone should have a New Year's resolution.
Yeah,
It's good to set goals.
yeah. Do you want to share that?
I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
I
if you
just
don't
think it's
want to,
good
we
to
can move
set up.
on.
I think it's just good to set up, achievable goals for yourself that maybe take like, not something that would you could do in like a day or two, like something that take a month or a few months, a year.
Yeah, and if if it is something like that's longer term, maybe like set benchmarks for yourself, like uh for
Yeah, just like as like if you're trying to lose weight for something, for instance,
yeah,
you don't gotta lose half the weight in the first month. You can do a little bit here.
yeah.
You don't gotta start out real strong.
I would say too, if you're doing something like that where you have a progression that you're following, get like a cheap whiteboard and kind of doodle it out. Like have like a bar that
Sticky notes.
yeah, that it's nice to see your progression. It actually gives you something to look forward to. You're like, man, if I stop now, that's all gonna go away. Something like that. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to hear what your favorite episode of the podcast was.
It's I don't know. There were a few good ones. Yeah, I definitely like the Luke Foods one.
Which
That
one?
was fun.
The
The
in
Page's
person one?
Pizza.
Yeah.
That was fun. And then I don't know. My favorite one was either Logan. Talk about I think it was the Allen County story, like school stories.
Oh yeah, talking about the summer camp, Camp Curry.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good one. And the cookie one. Those two are probably my favorite. That cookie one in particular. Cookie's funny. I like Cookie.
Yeah, I think a lot of people enjoyed that one, just judging by the views that it got. It's one of our highest.
I can't believe his story about his Camaro.
Yeah, that was crazy. Uh, I want. It's so hard for me to find this one. You know, I have a pretty good understanding of what our podcasts are, where they're at. As far as like a chronological. But man, I cannot find my favorite episode. My favorite episode, and it's kind of random, but it's just funny because of how you took it. Was we made a tier list in the end of one of our episodes as a like kind of bonus to making it to the end of everything you hate. That was like
That was a good one too.
it was so funny because
I wasn't ready for that one.
you had no idea until you started putting the pieces together. Like this Rocket League car and this World of Tank, something ain't adding up here. That and man, yeah, Cookie's episode was really really fun. I think all of them. I mean, Brian Kimball's was definitely educational. I wouldn't say it was somewhat entertaining, but talking to Brian Kimball kind of was just more for me. It was more just getting educated on kind of being a junkyard LS guy.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely gonna teach you something there.
Yeah, I feel like our Brian Tooley episode is like criminally underrated. I feel like we need to like change the title or something so we can get it back out there. That for what Brian, man, he really really threw some information out there. Like that's a good one to listen to if
Yeah.
you haven't listened to it yet. It was so
Ryan really
he hooked
has a
us
lot
up.
of experience under his belt, you know.
Definitely.
He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to share information.
I think another one of my favorites was the 4th of July one where we were sharing cop stories from that Facebook group. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hearing all the mischief everybody got into. Man, we got like, God, so many stories. It felt like that episode of iCarly whenever they're like going through all the dance emails and stuff.
Uh,
Because I was going, there must have been like 70 comments on that post.
we haven't done like an episode with me and Tyler talking about car stories, have we?
I maybe Tyler's been on like 2 or 3 times now. I think in
Yeah.
Tyler's original one we did, but it wouldn't be a bad thing to revisit. Honestly,
Me and him have a lot of stories.
we
And
just
honestly, we talk about them even today. Where it's like, I don't even remember some things until he brings it up.
man, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just like pack up our mobile podcast equipment like we went to MCR and did it, and just go to Ford and like have all your Ford buddies on, just kind of like have a round table.
Man, there's so many things that happen at Ford.
Have that older guy come on, that older bike guy that you guys like too. He'd be cool to talk to. I can't think of his name.
Virgil.
Yeah, Virgil. I'm sure Virgil's got some cool stories, especially being an old biker guy like that.
Yeah, he does have some cool biker stories.
I'm
Man, there's that would be like a 2 hour long episode, dude.
yeah, Virgil can talk.
God. Nah, I'm talking about just all the
like
old
Ford.
techs. We done so much, dude, in such a little amount of time. I only worked there like 2 years. It's just crazy.
That's how it was for me and Cookie
I ain't
at
gonna
J&M.
forget it.
That you don't forget your roots in like the adult job industry.
That was fun times at Ford.
That was me at J&M, dude. Me and Cookie. We go too far back.
Up there today ordering some tires.
Huh?
It's up there at Ford today ordering me some tires.
There you go. Get that discount.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what are some things you kind of wanting to continue into next year, because that's something I kind of want to propose to the viewer. Of course, they listen to the podcast, they should have some say so over. So I of course want to know what you think and what the viewer thinks of us returning some series that we had throughout the year, because we had the Tune In Tuesday where we did 2 podcasts a week. I will say that was super strenuous on the I wouldn't just say the editing, it's just like all of it. I don't know if that's something that you guys would like to see. It was fun, but I don't really feel like it got the reception that it got, that I would have wanted it to. And also, I think this should be a staple, but we had the other series that we did in July where every podcast was an in-person interview with somebody.
That's the one I do want to see continue. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun, especially getting some, we could get some more interesting people on. Man, I'd love to get
Yeah,
like
we
an
can
actual,
definitely get more interesting people on for sure.
yeah, we need to get an actual like studio through up and get some super interesting people on. And if you
Jacob Martin's basement.
that, oh my
We
god.
could, there's number one episode, Jacob Martin's basement. All the OG friend group stories.
Oh god, just have like a round table with all them.
Original Ding Dong Ditch.
Oh god, have Dean crash it. Dean was so dead set on
No,
crashing an episode. He was like, "I'm gonna ruin your podcast." I'm like, "You ain't doing nothing, Dean."
he's all talk.
He's all talk and no move. Uh, yeah. If you have anybody interesting in mind that you would like to see, of course, reach out to us. And if you maybe have some way of contacting that person, maybe give them a heads up that they might be interested in coming on. We might be, kind of throw something together like that. Of course, it helps that they're a local person. Traveling is, traveling's no fun sometimes. But if it's somebody that's willing to, come on down to good old Vet City, Kentucky.
I know who needs to be on.
Oh yeah, can it be
He,
said?
he he's a hometown hero.
No shot. I thought we had the band hammer on having Dean on.
No, we do.
I feel like that would be a crazy episode though, because Dean is like
It would
extra.
be. He is.
He
He is Bizarro Jordan almost.
that podcast would end in like him flipping a table or like destroying
Yeah.
something, or if he didn't destroy something on his way out, he would at least leave dramatically. This would not be a podcast that ended like normally. This would be something crazy. He's
Yeah.
just not a normal person. In
We would have to have traps set up. Like we'd have to have his cooler. Be like, look what I got, Dean.
Where are you going? He comes
You
running
better
back.
come back. Yeah. I'll have like his vape or something.
Oh my god. We just need to confront him about all his ridiculous stories, like on air. Just be like, "Oh, what about that charger in like Walgreens?" Shut your mouth.
He ain't gonna. That one ain't coming.
I feel like it'd be funny to slowly get into stories that are gonna make him mad. Just like have a decent interview at first, and then maybe slip into the hometown hero stuff, and then maybe really send him over the edge with like Felix, and then he just like really lose it. Oh, there's potential there. I think, yeah, I think we should sneak that in somewhere if we do return of that series.
Yeah.
Are there any people that you would want to see do that? Do the in person series as far as interview goes?
I haven't really gave that a lot of thought.
I mean,
Locally, someone I would like to see. I don't know if he would. I don't know if we would want him to do it necessarily, but I could see it being good. Is either Sneed or Bird.
my Sneed. Are you talking about like my Sneed and your Burge, the
Yeah,
tech school teachers? I believe our Sneed's a hard man to get a hold of because he's got his business and everything. I
yeah,
I believe I told him to reach out, which Sneed's one of those guys where he's like, if you really want to get a hold of me, just come to my house. So I could probably make that happen. He's just a busy man.
yeah. I feel like Bird's is pretty busy too.
One person I would like to see, and maybe you could get something going there, but I feel like Letitia would be very cool to talk to.
Yeah, definitely. She would be.
I
Or
know
Rick.
just that. Well, both of them that'd be cool. The parachute story alone that they told us at that one car meet
Ha.
was
Yeah.
that was crazy, dude.
We were talking about that last time I was up there.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's. I feel like local racers would just be cool to get a hold of. Like maybe even like an engineer from my work. he bracket races. Of course, he could also talk about just being an automotive engineer. But he's also got a Nova too that he no times. It's got a big block Chevy in it. I don't think he's spraying. I don't know. Maybe he is spraying it. But yeah, he's a no time car. I'm sure he's got some pretty cool stories. He's been drag racing for a
Yeah,
long time.
that would be cool.
And I don't know that my boss would come down. My boss, he lives, I believe he lives kind of north of Bowling Green, so it would be a pretty good haul. But he's got a really cool eighth mile Fox body, and he came from the coal mines, and he's got some crazy stories, dude. Like, you want to talk about a rough bunch of dudes, like a rough place to work? You need to talk to a dang coal miner, because we have two of them at
I
my
can
work.
imagine.
Dude, I'll just go on a side tangent here. My coworker, he told me this story. He was like, "Yeah, so we were going to there somewhere in the city, and they came across a gay bar, and they were like, yeah, let's mess with this one guy that we work with, and they wrote his phone number and put it in the bathroom, and that dude found out. Oh my god, he got like 3 or 4 other guys that they work with. They took that guy that put the phone number up, they tied him to a chair, either tied or duct taped him to a chair inside a room. They started packing their mouths full of dip, and they were just chewing it over his face with like his eyes and mouth open, just like dip going all over him. Dude,
What?
they are like, it sounds like Vietnam torture.
That's
My
wild.
coworker's just laughing like it was normal. He's like, "Ha, yeah, he never did that again." I'm like, that's not normal. Like, that's horrible. He call like OSHA or something, dude. That's
Sounds like almost like something we do at Ford.
God. That's like horrible. Uh, but yeah, I think Letitia would be fun to talk to. I got a couple people at my work that I'd love to bring on, but I don't really know that they would make the time. It's a lot to ask somebody to come out for an hour long podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, definitely. If you have somebody in mind you'd like to see us talk to, let me know, and also let me know what you think about some of these mini series is returning, and if you have an idea for another one. I think for sure next year, another one of my goals for the podcast is I want of course, behind the scenes, me and Jordan are always brainstorming on what to do next. What are we going to do that's kind of cool, exciting, different? And we've kind of come up with these specials, like, holiday special. Of course, this year they got planned. Like, every time I'd come with a foolproof concept, it'd be like a couple weeks before the actual date. And Jordan's like, look, man, let's be realistic and do it really good and not time crunch it. And I'm glad you stopped me, because God, if we had pumped some of those out beforehand, the concept is great, but the execution wouldn't have been good. I think
Yeah.
maybe like record it a month ahead of time, or at least start planning it a month ahead of time. Maybe
Yeah.
record the Christmas one around Thanksgiving time, and Thanksgiving time around like Halloween, something like that. Kind of pre-planned. But yeah, I've definitely got from what we were going to do last year for Thanksgiving and Christmas, those two big concepts, I feel like we can really have ironed out for next year. And of course, if you have any ideas, shoot them at me. But we're definitely going to start doing more stuff for the holidays, just to make the podcast a little bit more, have a little bit more depth to it. So that's just some kind of behind the scenes
Oh,
stuff that I've got. I mean, if you don't have anything, did you start to have a thought there?
well, I was gonna say we could talk about our PR, the end of our PRI trip, going to the micro center just real briefly.
Yeah, I was gonna split that up and put that in the back half.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, with that being said, we'll throw it to a quick ad break, and then we'll be right back with that micro center stuff. Yeah, so like you said before the break, finished out the trip by going to Micro Center, and if you haven't heard of Micro Center, you've probably at least seen a meme of it, like I had. It's basically like a Build-A-Bear workshop for PCs, essentially.
Yeah. Uh, except you don't really have to build the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of very vague to call it that, because they got more stuff. They got pre-builts there, they got smartphones, cameras.
Accessories. Yeah.
It's kind of like, I would say it's like a Best Buy, but with like more options as far as the building side goes. Like, they got more cases and
It's like high
timers.
performance Best Buy.
Yeah. Uh, I man, and it shocked me too because of the prices. I was expecting the prices to be more expensive than online, because it's like, I don't know. I guess it's just kind of maybe not a facade. Maybe I'm not using that word right, but it's kind of a thought that online is always cheaper. You know, it does typically tend to be, but for some reason, man, everything was like it wasn't like super super cheap, but it was like $20 cheaper than normal market price online. It was pretty nice to see that.
Well, CPUs were like $100 below.
Oh, was it? I was just going off of what I was
Yeah,
looking at. Uh,
that's only on those CPUs. You remember that one guy was talking about it, but
yeah,
yeah, if you need a CPU, you might just want to head there in person if it ain't too far away.
yeah. Like I said, the one we went to is in Indianapolis, and if you're ever driving by, I would say, man, go out of your way if you're a gamer. Like, definitely go out of your way. You will not regret it. It was so much fun. The people there are nice and friendly. They want to help you out. I will say my one complaint is that they're commission based. That first guy we talked to, it kind of, not to call him out, but he really felt like he was trying to really sell something to
Oh
me.
yeah,
I was like,
no, for sure.
man, like, no, come on, stop. I'm stop. You're being pushy and it's making me uncomfortable. Like, gamers are already kind of like recluses somewhat, at least probably a good portion of them are. And
Yeah.
I'm not one of those, but I'm like halfway. I don't really like talking to people, especially if I'm by myself, man. If I was by myself and that guy started doing that to me, I'd be like, all right, I'm out. But
Hmm.
you're kind of like the buffer for me to talk to people. But yeah, that guy was a little too pushy. But the other guy we talked to, I'll call him out by name because he was a legend. I believe his name was Patrick.
Yeah.
You know who
Yeah.
you are if you're listening. That guy, man. I even told him
He
to.
was cool.
He was super cool. He talked to us for a while. I told him, I'm like, man, I really appreciate you not being pushy because I was looking for a soundboard for the podcast, and he was like, man, here's the thing. I really don't know much about these soundboards. You might want to do your own research. And I was like, man, I really appreciate you being like that. I was like, I could definitely tell you're commission based. I said, and, I told him about that other associate. I'm like, he kind of nothing against him. He's just really pushy. And he's like, yeah, I try not to be like that. I'd rather you be happy with what you get than you come back mad at me because I just sold you something to get a buck off of you. And he,
Yeah.
he really seemed like he knew what he was talking about, especially with those headsets.
Yeah, I agree. He was cool. I hope he does good with his side business.
Yeah, doing some sort of IT style, like I believe it was like computer marketing or
Audio
something.
and video.
Oh yeah, it was audio video. Yeah, that guy was really cool. And Patrick, if you're listening, I'd love to come back and see you if we head back up there sometime. But hopefully your thing takes off and you get more monies.
Understandable.
But yeah, I mean, I'll even take this opportunity. He mentioned that, it's kind of crazy too. He said they really don't get as much business, and I just find that insane. I guess, like he said, they don't do much marketing. So, like I said, if you're in Indianapolis, go to Micro Center, check it out. There is a lot of cool stuff there. Even if you're just going to window shop like I was, man, it's just like it's so much to take in. And I promise you, if you're a gamer, you'll be back. Like, I promise you that. Uh, yeah, I hopefully this will get some traffic in there. They definitely should do more marketing because I feel like it's kind of like a hidden gem back there. It kind of is. I mean, it took us through some like back parking lots to get to it.
Yeah, it was like you go through two parking lots and then back on like the main road. Yeah, I'm kind of glad it was back in there because man, that restaurant was good.
Oh, that man, what was that place called? Charleston, the
Yeah,
Charleston.
Charleston's.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I really liked that soup that I had. That was pretty good. Man, I just wish we would have
Remember,
got to eat that Italian restaurant. That was so.
ha,
Man, that sucks. Y'all had me all hyped up about that.
you gonna try it one day.
We're gonna have to plan it ahead of time or something, or just
That is
go
Italian.
go up to Micro Center with the boys sometime. I don't think Luke's been, or Gavin might not have even been. I think Brady's the only one that's been, and us.
Yeah,
I think they would have a
yeah.
lot of fun.
We need to do a in person podcast with the whole boys.
Yeah, I think we got some pretty cool stories. Even like me and Gavin were telling my coworker about the 4th of July story about me like chugging all that milk, and he's like he was just telling him how every time we all get together, somebody throws up, like every single
Pretty
time.
much, it's crazy.
Like even whenever we did my 4th of July, there's no alcohol involved, and somebody still throws up. It's like we're cursed.
We are.
I,
It is just meant to be at this point.
I think Gavin told me one time you didn't even have any alcohol. You just had McDonald's and you threw up or something. I can't
I
remember.
was just sick. I don't know why.
It threw up all over their brand new rug or couch. I can't remember which one it was. Or maybe it was Gavin that did
Um,
that one.
Gavin did that. Gavin and Brady.
Gavin's like, I still
They
feel
they
bad to this
both
day.
Gavin and Brady both threw up on that.
Molly had to been ready to kill y'all.
She was ready to kill Brady that first time.
Like, what have you done to our house?
He was just wild.
Oh man. Yeah, I didn't want to take too much time on this. It's of course, there's not much to say. Micro Center is just a cool place to check out, and if you're in the area, you gotta make that special trip. It's something to see. It's a trip if you've never. I mean, I can't imagine if you haven't been to a Best Buy. If you haven't been to a Best Buy, you're really gonna get your brains blew out by this place. This place is like, I don't even understand how to explain it. It's just crazy because they got all the RGBs going. I got a video of one case that's like the whole entire case is RGB, liquid cooled. Everything is just like flashing.
A little too much for me.
Yeah, but it is cool to see. It's cool to see all that incorporated. That's me. I got a case that slowly changes color. My RAM sticks are glowing. I don't really have that much. I do like my RGBs, but no overkills.
I'm having 0.
I'm no ricer, that's for sure.
I may do one in the case, but no parts will be RGB.
Yeah.
I might just have one like white light inside the case.
Yeah, you gotta get a light in the case, dude. You gotta show off them internals.
Yeah, I feel like that's about all I'm gonna have though.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, that's pretty much all we have on the back half here. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast as much as we did. If you did, be sure to like, favorite, and follow the podcast on all social media platforms as well as on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you're listening at. And guys, I want to extend a happy New Year to all of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the next year of 2024 for a whole nother year of podcasting. With that being said, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.